are now listening to the Rough Tumble Podcast.
That might be listening to us recap fights or whatever, because we're notoriously great at recapping fights. We've done 2 now, and nobody has learned anything about the fights. And prepare for another one. This weekend was UFC Fight Night. And
Norfolk.
Norfolk. I've heard so many people say that wrong.
Norfolk?
Yeah, like
How can you fuck that up?
Dana White said Norfolk on his thing.
Doesn't make any sense.
And so we had a friend this weekend fight on UFC Fight Night. He had his
Downtown?
debut. Yeah, downtown TJ Brown, friend of the
Downtown TJ
podcast.
Brown.
He's been on the podcast. He'll be on the podcast again.
Yep.
Soon, actually, he promised us.
He did promise. No takebacks.
But unfortunately, it didn't go his way. He ended up losing via a guillotine choke.
Was it a guillotine or was it like a bulldog choke?
No, it was a guillotine choke. So TJ had passed guard in order to defend, which usually is what it takes.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
It was that high elbow guillotine,
kind of like the Marcellatine style.
Yeah, and you could tell that this dude's squeeze was insane.
Yeah,
and he got his neck. You know, like you've been in those guillotines where like sometimes your neck is at an angle where it's just like it doesn't matter what you do, they've got that angle and you're not recovering that posture.
Yep.
That's kind of what happened. He ended up going out and feel for him, but like his coaches and like he said, they've been there before. Yeah, and they'll recover and come back and do it again. But really dominant performance.
Yeah,
up until that point.
I didn't get to watch the fight. I was out of service range. So on the way back from North Arkansas, I was waiting for service to come back so I could at least get a follow-up. And unfortunately, it wasn't the follow-up that I was hoping for. But at the same time, I think TJ's proven that he's supposed to be there. He's dominant. They were looking at some of the statistics. And this is the ironic statistic of it, is that based on Griffin's finishes and TJ's finishes, TJ had a 92% finish rate, which is extremely good. Huge. And I think that Griffin's was somewhere in the 70% range. And so even looking at that, yes, it's a little ironic that someone with a lower finish rate finished a guy with a higher percentage finish rate. But at the same time, that's the way the game goes. And I can only imagine what it must have felt like to be in there. I know that initially the nerves had to be insane, and I imagine they calm down once the fight gets going, but it is what it is, man. Like, that's the thing that's crazy about MMA, and it's the thing that's crazy about even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I look at it this every time I lose, which is often. I always look at it and go, you know what, dude? Every year at the Worlds and every year at the Pans, world champions lose and Pan Am champions lose.
Yeah, I've had several fights where we walked away from it and I was like, dude, like, you just got caught. You know, like, there was just no other way to explain it. It's not necessarily a fluke because that guy was waiting for that moment.
Right.
I don't, like, and Matt had said it. He said that don't discount the choke. Like, that's a pet move of that guy's. He's been honing that in the gym. We all have those goofy moves. I have a whole series of them that I do. Yeah. And
you won your black belt matches before.
Yeah. So I almost submitted another guy the other day with it. But that's just, that's the game. And I think, he'll watch that fight and see the mistakes that he made and come back and fix it and fight differently. That whole card though, like, God damn it.
Luis Pena won by decision.
Here's something I want to bring up. He did this a lot, and so it dawned on me, maybe this is the reason that it's happening, but it's driving me crazy. When people have their back against the cage, right? Let's say I have your back and I have my back against the cage. Like we're kind of sitting up on one side.
Okay.
And my back up against the cage. It would make more sense for me to use my bottom arm, okay, if we're posted up on the right side, for me to use my bottom arm to wrap up the rear naked choke. Because then your escape is to roll to get me to the side that the cage is on, right? So my overhook needs to be on the open side, not the closed side where the cage is at. Does that make sense?
It does.
So why is everybody trying to choke with that top arm when their escape is to roll is right there?
I think just
because of the cage control?
No.
Are they afraid that they're I don't get it.
I think it's out of habit because they've got the over under and they're attacking with the arm that they're normally
just whatever arm is over.
Yeah, that's what they've been taught for years and years and years is that overhook arm is what you use to attack the neck, which it is. 99% of the time, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And so I think that's what it is. It's just falling back on training.
Here's the only thing that no, that doesn't even make sense because then your head would be on the other side. So your head would be on top. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand. I've seen it. Luis Pena was doing it a lot. I've seen it in countless other fights. Everybody's been doing it. There was somebody recently that Colby Covington. It was the same problem. He was trying to choke from that what was it? The close side or whatever. It's hard to describe in a podcast. I wish I could just sit down and be like, this is the position I'm talking about. Well, that's why we need mats for the video. But still we wouldn't be able to describe it. It drives me nuts, dude. That whole card, for the most part, except for those prelims, honestly, that whole card was dog shit. It was horrible. Everything that was run. Like the whole thing. I don't know. Is Virginia a place that the UFC's ever been?
Yeah, they went last year because when I Googled UFC Norfolk, it was Dustin Poirier when he beat Anthony Pettis.
Okay.
It was in Norfolk, yeah.
It's just, dude, what's up with their commission? Their refs, there was one ref that looked like it was his very first time reffing.
Probably was. They probably do like an internship type deal, like, I don't know.
The
like a big brother,
the
big sister.
Kudalaba Onkolov. Did you hear about that at all?
It sounds like you said Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
So I'm gonna pull it up right here on the iPad because I have it right here. Stephanie, you're fired. I don't know why you're not doing this already.
Yeah. Well, we found a reason to fire you.
Good job.
So
this is world record status for shortest day of work.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Once the ad's done playing. Okay, watch this. They call his name. Here's what he does. Bitch.
He knows the fight didn't start yet, right?
Yeah, I don't think so, honestly. So then
he doesn't speak any English, maybe.
Yeah, he says, we're fighting. We're going to fight right here. This is us.
He's like, it's like he's saying,
here we go.
He's like making sure that everyone's on the same page. Like,
I hope they show the, no, they're not going to. So
that was
hilarious. The stoppage is what's crazy. Are you trying to pull that up right now? Okay, I'm going to explain it for those of you that haven't seen it. So here's what happened is he gets slapped with a left hook, like a long range slapping left hook. He gets hit with on the inside of the glove, right? Like with the inside of the knuckles. Not a clean shot. And he starts doing like the rope-a-dope, like, right. And you can tell that's just a part of what he's doing. He's just super intense and ridiculous. So he starts doing that. Then he immediately swings back, right? Then it happens a couple more times where the guy throws and it's completely blocked. They showed it in the slow motion replay. It's completely blocked. He returns fire. The ref jumps in and stops the fight while he's returning with legitimate punches.
Oh, wow.
And they stop the fight. I mean, the place just starts booing like crazy.
That poor guy.
And so he's playing, and the guy immediately is like saying like, no, like that's not what this is. And so he kind of got ripped off. Everybody got ripped off on that. Jesus Christ, the fuck Siri. My Siri just popped up. But anyways, so he gets ripped off on that, and everybody gets ripped off on it because it was about to be a barn burner.
Yeah.
And they stopped it within like 40 seconds, I think. and
the first round
to nothing. Yeah. And I mean, like
Christ.
off of the first exchange, first exchange, he starts acting like he's wobbly. And what I think got him.
I mean, the UFC has had some pretty questionable situations in the past where it's looked like the fight was fixed, but this probably takes the cake.
I don't think this was that. I think this was that the referee. And see, like everybody's saying that like the referee doesn't know what he's doing. He's there, he can see it, but at the same time, like, dude, you're in a really fucking intense moment. You know, like I can't necessarily blame it on the referee because that would be probably the same way. Like, oh, you know, like a lot of times those look like legitimate punches. How many times do you see that happen and then watch it in slow mo and like?
Well, I mean, I've repped for the AGF, and I'm here to tell you,
as a referee myself,
you know, I just let kids break each other's arms.
Yeah,
because then there's no question about what was going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's where you and I differ.
I like to think that like this ref, like I give him a backstory, and like so he spent like the last 7 years like reffing like Little League baseball and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
then jumps into this,
and then like he shows up to work one day and it's like, hey guys, it happened. I got called up to the big show,
the big leagues.
I'm going to the big leagues, and everybody like throws him a party. They're like, Frank's gonna do it for all of us, and then he gets out there and he's like never ever gonna ref for the UFC again. And then now he goes back and he's shamed and like. And they're like, it's okay, man. Everybody makes mistakes. And it's a whole series.
I'm going to stop you right there.
And then he kills himself.
You've already gone too long with this.
I was watching it in my head. It was a great movie.
Dude, we're on track for the best recap of any card that we've ever done because I'm really hyped about how fucking shitty this card was. It's so bad.
That's the key.
On top of all that, the judges apparently were scoring rounds before they were finished. TJ Brown's fight. Was one of the judges scored that he won the first 2 rounds when he lost. He was submitted in the second round. So judges are scoring the round before they're finished. I don't think that it's because of fixed fights. That's not what I think that it is. Let me be clear about that. I think that it's poor judging. It's poor.
It's just highlighting the need for education in the judging system when it comes to MMA.
Well, and I've judged fights before. I've judged MMA fights before, and it's
so as a ref for the AGF.
I judged a Little League softball game one time, and no, but I understand the thinking behind it because you see a dominant round in the first minute and a half, and you're like, this guy's got it won.
Yeah, he's going to keep this up.
It's, you know, there's not much that the other guy can do at this point to convince me otherwise. In which case, you have a notebook next to you where you're taking those notes during a round, not on the scorecard. So that was going on. Then there was, which fight? What was that fight? It was the co-main event. The girls,
females, the girls,
the ladies. Let me find it. Felicia Spencer versus Zara Farron. Zara should not have ever been allowed
you were
to
talking
step
about
into that cage.
Yeah, we were having that discussion prior, and you mentioned that she basically looked like she had no idea what she was doing.
I know that it's because of the state of woo.
Oh, Johnny!
My foot just hit
just went down.
I about broke my foot
We're
on the
done.
process.
Thank God you have insurance.
Yeah. We think. So it's because of the state of women's MMA. There's
not enough competitors.
There's one person in that division. Yeah. There's nobody. There's no other. There's Megan Anderson who got a knockout in that fight. She's an interesting contender, but the rest of them are pretty much dog shit. And it reminded me of a boxing fight that I'd watched recently, that Don King had pulled a guy out of a mental hospital for this boxing fight.
Was it Arkham Asylum?
Yeah. And the guy ended up bawling his eyes out after the end of the first round. And it's
because who knows what Don King told him?
Oh,
he probably told him that, like, hey, no, it's a, we're actually we're having a banquet. We're having a dinner and it's in your honor. And he shows up and he's like, I can't eat with these gloves on.
Boxing is an interesting, you need to click on the green one.
Green means go.
There you go. Boxing, the way that they do that, and I think this is starting to come up in what's happening in MMA, because even some of the men's MMA seems like it's going a little bit backwards in the newer division, in the rookie leagues, like not in the rookie leagues. What am I trying to say? The newcomers in the UFC.
Okay.
A lot of times you're like, man, they don't have the talent that I would expect from somebody that's, got
in
this much hype and coming in. There's a lot of like the heavyweights, light heavyweights. And what I think is happening is a little bit of people are figuring out that boxing, the way that boxing is ran and their records are run, they're starting to do with the MMA. And they're starting to pad their records a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Prior to coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been common practice in MMA, in boxing. However, so the way that we ran my MMA career, I can only speak for that, was my very first pro fight. I had the number one guy in the state in my division. And then, but my amateur fights was like, you get a couple easy, not necessarily easy fights, but like 0-0 guy. He's never fought before. You're probably going to beat him up. You've been training a little bit longer than him. You should be able to beat him up. And then after a couple of those, you start getting thrown in there with like, this guy's a little bit tougher. Let's see what happens here. Then you start getting tested and you're like, okay, now like I'm really going against tough guys. Am I ready to go pro, or do I need to kind of dial it back and go against a couple scrubs a little bit and, get my experience up, whatever. And then by the time you're pro, you're ready, right? Like by the time I went pro, I wanted to feel like, I could conceivably within 5 to 10 fights start my run in the UFC, and did not do that. But so what I think is happening now is they're padding the records as if the boxing, like they do with boxing, where they will bring in scrubs. By the time a guy has a title fight, he's got 60 fights.
I talked to, I want to say it was Boris. So Boris is the kickboxing coach at Westside. And the guy's, and honestly, he's a legend in the local sport. I mean, the guy's, was a heavyweight kickboxing champion. The guy's old school. They were doing, there's a documentary being made about him and stuff, and it's pretty cool. And he's a super nice guy. But I was having a conversation with him, and he was telling me about how guys in the boxing world, you would have a person who had an okay record. So we were having a discussion about like the ranking systems. Like, in a perfect world, basically the number 1 seeded athlete and the number 2 seeded athlete would fight each other.
Right.
But then you have situations where the top rank, the what do you call it? The number 1 contender or whatever doesn't even get a title fight. And you got like the number 8 ranked guy fighting for the title, weird stuff like that. And, he said in the boxing world, they would do that on purpose to pad fights or to give guys a longer run at the title.
Yep.
And they would pay the other guys off, like knowing, the guys would be like, I'm not taking that fight. Like I'm going to get murdered. And so they would say, okay, we will pay you $750,000 to take this fight, knowing you're probably going to get your ass beat, because they wanted to pad the other guy's record a little bit more with at least top 15 contenders,
I can't speak from experience with that specific world, but I can absolutely definitely see that.
Yeah.
This is her stats.
Zara? Okay. Oh, I love it. We got a laser pointer, everything. So what is that? Significant strikes. She landed 46.4. Let me tell you, I don't think that those weren't significant strikes. I mean, her head is straight up and down while she's throwing these strikes, and she's bum rushing, and she showed signs of good punching technique as far as like corkscrewing out her straight punches, but just zero strategy, zero idea of how any of it.
Kind of just out there winging it, like like maybe they didn't have like an actual strategy for her. She
took a couple boxing classes and then went to it, And then the main event, Davison Figueiredo versus Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah, Benavidez missed weight.
No.
The other guy missed weight?
Figueiredo missed weight. who I love that him. He's super talented kickboxer. He's trained by Walid Ismail, and he's just freaking. He's a monster. He missed weight. It's the first time he's missed weight though.
But it was a title fight.
It is. However, because it's his first time, I can kind of, like, who knows what went on, man.
I don't know.
I
agree.
I've missed weight countless times.
Yeah, but you also weren't fighting for a title in the UFC. Like part of your job description is to make weight.
It is, but it's a pretty extreme practice that
it is an extreme practice, but it doesn't change the fact that when I went to Taco Bell last night and I ordered a particular order and they missed one item that was on there, I'm still pissed. I went back in and got it. Why? Because you have one fucking job. One job. The chick at the window has one job.
But
the job of the lady at the window is to go, here are the, I don't even care if they have, what if
homeboy got the flu? What if he got sick in the middle of his weight cut?
Then you pull out of the fight.
Dude, that's
pull
not
out of the
happening.
Fight. Well, I mean, so what's more ridiculous? You pull out of a fight due to an illness that can be proven by documentation and medical records, or you miss weight on a title fight and look like a fucking retard?
I don't know, man. Like, if you thought he could make weight.
Especially with the coronavirus going around, you could have easily blamed it on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there are circumstances in which...
Of course, I've missed weight.
Beyond the person's control that can make that happen. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on the reasoning that he missed weight. I'm not saying that.
I take back what I said. I've actually never missed weight in a situation where I was required to make a weight class. Like, I've never missed weight in 12 years. The only time I missed weight was at Naga, and it was only because I planned to do 145 and couldn't make 145, and so I just signed up for the 155 division.
Yeah, Naga will let you move around anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I've never missed, and I'm not even a fucking professional.
Man, I had one time I missed weight at a tournament, and the guy goes, you look like you worked hard. Here you go. He gave me the card. I was like, thanks, bro. I did work hard.
That's hilarious.
No, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's made weight every time in that weight class, which is a low weight class. It's tough to get to.
So at what point? So after Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim, do we go?
You're ridiculous.
I'm not
black and white. Black and white.
How's it black and white?
There's no gray area. There's no gray area. You're black and white with it. There's no gray area.
Not when it comes to that level of the sport. No, there's no black. It's black and white.
It's unfortunate.
Now you know what? I take it.
It's not ideal that he missed weight. It wouldn't be professional if he missed weight. It's not It's non-professional that he missed. It's unprofessional that he missed weight. Yes, but I don't think that people should automatically people were booing him when he came out.
I would have booed him.
All of that, it's just an overreaction. You honestly, you have no idea what went on.
I would have held up a sign that says,
You would, because you're that kind of person. You would probably also tell him to stand up.
Yeah,
just stand up.
Yeah.
Anyways, Joseph Benavidez should. If you want to get into MMA, learn how to throw a goddamn jab.
And make
Please,
weight.
Everybody, just learn how to throw a jab before you do your MMA career.
So when you showed me that recap earlier, who was the guy that didn't realize the fight hadn't started yet?
Oh, Carter, I don't know.
Oh, so it was a different fight. Okay, that wasn't the main event.
Fight.
Okay,
yeah. So
I was going
anyway,
to say that's
Jesus. This is that was our hour-long recap of UFC Fight Night that nobody cares about, and you're welcome. It was the worst card ever, and I don't ever want to watch another UFC because of it. It was horrible.
It's awfully black and white of you.
Yeah, the only good fight was TJ's, man.
Yeah,
it was. Anyways, we haven't even talked about. We do this every time. We would have a topic.
We do have a topic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm excited because we have a lot of we have a whole whiteboard full of topics written down. Stephanie, can you please stop eating while we're doing an episode? I'm just kidding. I just wanted to make you feel uncomfortable while you're eating over there.
She's like, she only eats soft food so that it doesn't make noise.
Yeah, she's trying so hard to be quiet and we're making it horrible.
She's eating a granola because it's a soft food.
You're fired again.
We're paying that one forward. That's twice in one episode.
Twice in one. You're really starting to, with your attitude earlier.
I didn't notice that she had an attitude, but I also trust you, Johnny.
Okay, sorry. We've got a really good list of episodes that fit kind of our niche of just fucking weird stuff, and I'm excited about it. And so our episode is Bruce Lee.
It is Bruce Lee.
Myth or legend?
Myth or legend.
Wait,
So,
what's the difference between a myth and a legend?
So myth
or
is
real life?
No, the other way around.
Legend is a legend. Legend is a myth, right? That's the same thing.
No.
A myth is
You're a legend based on your accomplishments. A myth is accomplishments that are not founded in fact. They're assumptions.
So when people say legend has it,
you know what?
What's that mean?
I take that back, because how many times have you heard people say the man, the myth, the legend?
Right. So it's the same thing.
So yeah, it is. So we probably shouldn't have said that. So instead,
So wait, is the man the same thing as the legend and a myth? Men don't exist.
Nope.
Holy shit.
Count it.
Men don't exist.
Zach would agree.
Men
Zach and he
are
would agree.
a myth. Wow.
So then we'll say Bruce Lee, fact or fiction.
There we go.
There we go.
Fact or fiction.
Yeah.
I don't think they had fax machines back then.
They didn't. My grandmother would have sent a fax if they did.
Facts or fiction. Put a fax machine on there. So the reason we wanted to bring this up is we've been kind of on this this trend of well, actually the reason you guys wanted to bring it up, it wasn't even us that brought it up.
Yeah.
It was we had a YouTube comment. Stephanie, can you pull that up and let's see if we can read through those comments? If you want to put your granola bar away for 2 seconds.
Yeah. You don't have to do your job, but it'd be awesome.
We're not going to give you shit every time that we talk to you on here.
Yeah.
That's not what this is.
We don't want to set that
turn
precedence,
into. Yeah.
but today that's what we're doing.
Right now, that's what I feel like doing. So,
Sorry. We're the talent, so.
Yeah, you got to deal with this. Anyways, the reason that you guys wanted to bring it up is after we did our Count Dante episode, we had a lot of comments about somebody had said that their favorite mythical martial artist was Bruce Lee.
Right.
And of course that gets, my dog going. He's out there barking now because of it. And what's going on out there?
I know. I thought I heard a man's voice, and then I realized it was on the computer that Stephanie was bringing up. It's okay.
Anyways, yeah. So you guys had said something about that. It was your favorite mythical martial artist, and we're kind of thinking what is a mythical martial artist? You know, how do you describe that? Because from everything that I don't want to get too far, put the cart in front of the horse, but he described himself as such and pretty much seemed to have lived up to that.
Yeah, that was the crazy part, because the thing is that here's the thing.
Here's the thing with Mitchell Hall.
During that time, it was easy to make up wild facts because we didn't have the internet. Scientology got away with it for a fucking long time. So did the Mormons. No offense to the Mormons, but not the Mormons themselves, but the fundamentalist ones, the ones that are the extreme, you see that in a lot of cultures where hell, China, there was no internet for people to self-educate. And so it kind of came down to people just creating their own myths, and there was no way to fact check it. And now we can fact check everything. So we were kind of looking at it going, you know what? We're going to call these motherfuckers out. We're going to go back. We're going to do some real research.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if these people were who they said they were, right? So that's what led us to the Count Dante situation, where we were looking up this dojo war guy or whatever, and come to find out the guy was a fucking badass.
Well, he was
exactly who he said he was.
No, he was false.
He was the deadest man on the planet.
He was false in almost everything that he was doing.
We don't know that.
He was just fucking cool. You know what I also found out about that is that he cut hair for the Playgirls. Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, I knew he was a hairdresser. I didn't know he was that level of a hairdresser.
I don't know.
Okay, so can you read that comment? Can you see that
What's
up
it
there?
say?
What's it say? The one that this dude I feel like I'm taking a vision test. Hold on. Let me stand up and read that real quick. In my opinion, Bruce Lee was the godfather of fake martial arts.
Yeah. So, and what's the guy's name? Who said that? What's the person's name?
red pill,
Oh yeah,
black
so red
pill
no, it was-
knowledge.
I thought it was red pill, blue pill.
Red
Does it say
pill, black pill knowledge.
Yeah, red pill, black pill knowledge. So
And then here's what's funny too is
we're also going to charge that guy for a sponsorship.
somebody also commented, interesting. This probably happened before you guys were even born.
I know, like, well, no shit.
Okay, boomer. Of course it happened. This is Black Dragon Kinpo, which
Black
is
Dragon
oddly
Kinpo, yeah.
fitting for. I don't think that Count Dante even died. I think that's Count Dante.
I think it is too. He's like, listen here, young bucks.
Yeah.
The thing, he was super nice about it. I remember reading it, and it kind of came across as catty. And then he
I almost commented, but I was like, no.
yeah, he kind of seemed like
he's
he
being
was
nice.
yeah. And I was like, you know what, dude, he took time to write on the page.
If you're listening
you know.
to Black Dragon Kinpo, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to. I'm
I think
sorry,
you're a
man.
good dude.
Yeah.
I think you should continue to follow our page and give us as much constructive feedback as you've been giving.
Also, your money.
Yep. If you're not a
shout out to our
subscriber,
Patreon.
if you're not a subscriber to the YouTube, you're part of the problem. So,
I don't know if you subscribe.
it did happen before we were born. So did the Civil War, World War One.
As with Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Let's see. I think McDonald's happened before I was born. I don't know. Maybe right around the time I was born. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the moral of the story is that Black Dragon. There's a lot of things that happened before I was born.
Black Dragon.
So
Okay. So Bruce Lee, is he a myth? Are the things that he's saying a myth? Let's go back a little bit, just as far as his life, because his
let's
early
learn
life-
about Bruce Lee, the man.
Yeah. Stephanie did a great job with our investigatory work again.
She's getting better.
Thank you, Stephanie. She got us all of this. Anyways, Bruce made his first appearance in the movies as a baby in the film Golden Gate Girl.
Golden Gate Girl, which was actually a porno.
Was it really?
I don't know.
Oh,
It sounds
you
like
said
it.
that. You said you'd been studying all week. I was like, damn, coming in with the real facts.
He
It
was the
not a
baby.
porn.
So so in the beginning of the movie, the two main characters have sex.
Okay. Anyways, by the time Lee was 18, he had appeared in 20 films. In 1958, Bruce Lee won the Hong Kong school boxing tournament, knocking out the previous champion in the final round.
So by the time he was 18,
I bet Bruce Lee has a job.
Yeah, he had been in 20 movies by the time he was 18 years old. Now, my question is, and this is something we couldn't find out because I did research and look into it, but like, so his parents are the ones that got him started in movies, obviously, you know. So,
I think it said something. I think I read something about his dad or one of his parents like being an actor or something.
yeah,
like that.
I mean, obviously he was and then you're 18 years old and you're in 20 movies already. But I think in Hong Kong at the time, it was really easy to get into movies.
Yeah, I don't know what they're
Because those guys were putting out, like, look at all your Hong Kong kung fu.
1958.
Yeah,
That's
they're putting out a
around the
movie
time,
a week.
Around the time, but that was like big business in China.
I know. I've seen the movie Enter the Dragon. Or what was it called? What was the movie that was made about his life?
Made about his life?
Yeah, it was.
I'm not sure.
It's the first time I was introduced.
Anyways,
to
I think that him winning the boxing tournament adds a lot of background and
because
credibility to what
it talks about the fact that he was obviously a true martial artist in the beginning of his career.
Well, I don't think that he was ever not a true martial
Right.
artist. Honestly, the fact that also that he's been an actor and that's pretty much what he's presented himself as.
Dragon.
It's called Dragon.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Black Dragon, who is a potential subscriber on YouTube.
He presented himself as an actor. You know, I'm a martial artist and I'm an actor. Because you're a martial artist does not necessarily mean you're a fighter. And the question that keeps coming up in this is, who would win in a fight, Bruce Lee or this guy? Who would
Bruce Lee or Count Dante?
or whoever? Anybody, right? Like,
okay. I got you.
Yeah, like GSP or Bruce Lee.
Yeah, GSP.
You have to remember that the rules that you are playing in are what dictate your abilities.
Yeah, he
right?
was a martial artist, but also a performance artist at the same time. Because most of his stuff, like he had like these feats. Like back then, it was like feats.
That's what a lot of it was. And he didn't he didn't practice point sparring. He didn't practice these. He didn't know the rules of a lot of these different martial arts because he didn't practice one particular martial art. It wasn't. He did. I mean, he did of course do like Wing Chun. I think
he did.
But,
Yeah.
As far as I know, like he didn't compete a lot because that wasn't his point. That wasn't his.
It wasn't what he was
purpose.
trying to accomplish.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't really call a guy out on having not done that when he never claimed to be that person in the first place.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Speaking of the Wing Chun thing, when I was doing some of my research, so he wanted to do private lessons with this Wing Chun guy. And that the guy was like, no, I'm not going to do private lessons with you. Like, I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
So what he would do is he would get to the school early. And then when all the other students started showing up, he would tell them that the school was closed that day. And then they would all leave. And then he would just be the only kid in class.
That's brilliant.
I know.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, sorry. So he was a bit of a prankster as well.
Well, he was kind of a troubled youth too. He got in trouble and he would got in a lot of street fights.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds to me like he was trying to just carve his own path, and like he got into a lot of philosophy towards the end of his life. And one of the cool things is Mr. Dring, my coach for people that don't remember, he was close friends with Joe Louis, the kickboxer, who was like, he was the fucking dude back in the day. And Joe Louis took private lessons under Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked Mr. Jing a lot about like some questions about if he had any stories or whatever. And he said that like the one thing that he remembers Joe Louis always talking about is that Bruce Lee was insanely fast.
Yeah.
That was one thing that was not fake. Out of, like he didn't know, if him and Joe fought or whatever, he doesn't know what would happen. He said whenever they would train and stuff, there were things or from his private lessons, he used things that Bruce Lee taught him to win fights. Yeah. Don't know what that was specifically, but, there were ideas that Bruce Lee had passed on to him that helped him win fights. So there's legitimacy in that.
Mm-hmm.
And but he said his speed was one of the most incredible things. And that's what a lot of his showcasing was. And that's what a lot of his purpose was honestly like he wanted to be fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
And he was. And Dan Inosanto, one of his like famous coaches. I don't know
that's the name that's mentioned all the time. Even like, there's the Machados.
Students, I guess.
Yeah.
Famous students.
Yeah. The Machado brothers actually do some training with Dan Inosanto. So there's guys even in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world that still seek out his knowledge when it comes to Jeet Kune Do and stuff like that,
So what, again, Mr. Jing was here telling us was that what a lot of people don't know is Dan Inosanto was a D1 sprinter.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I think you told me that.
Yeah, he was insanely fast. And he always referred to Bruce Lee as being incredibly fast. So if you can get the college sprinter to call you fast, you're probably pretty fast.
I agree.
I'm gonna believe it. and so yeah, it just sounds like honestly he presented himself as one thing.
Do you think who would win in a race, like Dan Inosanto or a Corvette?
Yeah, that's a perfect example. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't ask that question. It's like, who would win an MMA fight? Dude, I would probably beat Bruce Lee's ass right now in an MMA fight.
I know I would.
I'd wrestle fuck him for days.
Yep.
Like, he's probably going to be fast. But, like, that's not a fair comparison.
It's not, because it's apples to oranges.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know what? If he trained in mixed martial arts right now, and he was, I would say, yes, he would be an incredible force to be reckoned with. But there are no superhumans. There is nobody who doesn't bleed.
Right.
And these things that we talk, like these things that we've all, they just get blown out of proportion.
And that's the other thing is, and I don't have a problem with this, but
he died early. I mean,
he was in his 30s.
That's what happens to everybody that does early.
A lot of people say, well, Jeet Kune Do was the beginning of mixed martial arts.
Great.
And I know. And so
it's not the end.
It's not the end. But my point is that a lot of your Jeet Kune Do guys will, and nothing against those guys. I mean, it's a great martial art, but a lot of those guys will say that as if like, well, we were doing it before it was cool. And it's like, okay. But all Jeet Kune Do was the idea of utilizing, what works from all different martial arts and creating it into a martial art, right? It was an idea. He had an idea, but there wasn't a whole lot of practicality and practical use.
Because they didn't have the ability.
Yeah, there was no way to showcase it.
You think that if Bruce Lee was alive today, that Jeet Kune Do would end up being what it is now? I think that it would have evolved because from everything that it sounds like Bruce Lee was about, it was about evolving, learning how to be the most well-rounded, complete martial artist that he could.
Yeah, he took ideas from jiu-jitsu. Like if you look at the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, which was his book, there's judo throws in it. It's got American style boxing in it. Even some submissions, like some of the judo style arm locks and stuff like that were in the book, and he drew all that stuff. And
I think the thing that you have to ask yourself is like, when people say things like, okay, so I can imagine, I've never been taught Jeet Kune Do.
Me either.
I don't think. But imagine being taught Jeet Kune Do and somebody says, well, this is the way that Bruce Lee did it. You have to ask yourself, is this the way that Bruce Lee would do it today?
Right, exactly. It's going to be completely outdated.
Like,
I mean,
it's rooted in a concept that I guarantee will help you understand where you're going and what it comes from. But
the break cutter choke that I do today as a black belt is ideally the same that I was doing as a blue belt, but practically different.
Right.
I mean, like it's the same technique, but there's a lot more to it now. It had to evolve, and so this idea that I mean, and like you said, that whole idea died when he died. And so we don't know. We have no idea what would have happened if it had been allowed to continue to evolve.
It's interesting too. It says that Lee then moved to the USA in 1959, where he went to school and studied drama. He's an actor,
right.
And Asian and Western philosophy. He's a philosopher.
He was.
Like it's from day one. This is what it seems like what his interests were and where he wound up as a philosopher. You guys understand that philosophy is not necessarily things that are facts.
Yeah, it's actually completely the opposite.
It's more like ideas.
Yeah.
So when people say things like, and his philosophies are incredible, right? Like the whole
be like water.
Be like water. How many times do you hear that in jiu-jitsu? It's gotten to the point where it's fucking obnoxious to hear.
I know.
But it's true. You can't make any other comparison.
No, I tried to be like water multiple times.
Well, and he says water crashes and water is formless, and water flows. So it's like it encompasses
It's really
everything.
weird when both guys are trying to be like water.
Yeah.
It gets really weird.
When both lay on their back. Wait, I pulled guard. No, I pulled.
It's called possum guard.
Yeah. So it just sounds like after he died, everybody blew it out of proportion.
Well, that's like, I know. And it's funny because people take these philosophies and things like that. And it's the same thing you see with motivational memes. Like people go, it can't rain all the time. Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it can't rain all the time. Like guess what? Oh, it can't be sunny all the time. Oh, fuck, you're right. God damn it. Like sometimes you wear your shirt backwards. What does that even mean? Crisscross will make you jump. That's 3. You're fired.
Oh my God.
Brandon Lee was the one that it can't rain all the time. His son.
Yeah, his son said that. I know, that's why I stole it from the crow. I did steal it from the crow.
What did he say?
He said it can't rain all the time.
Oh,
that was
really?
actually his son Brandon said that in the movie The Crow. Yeah.
Nice little hidden.
Yeah. Well,
egg,
I only
Easter
remember.
egg.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. It's just I use it so much in my day-to-day life as my philosophy.
The other thing that,
but it's
go
like
ahead.
it's that's the point. Is like people choose to take some of the stuff he said and apply it to the most like literal of senses. You know, it's like you have. Well, it's like but
it only means what you decide it's going to mean.
I mean,
Like
one of my favorite things to say is there'll always be another worst day of your life. Like I literally say that as a motivator to myself and to other people that I talk to, and it's true. There will always be another worst day of your life, but that doesn't mean that today doesn't fucking suck pretty bad.
If it's that day, then you're dead.
And you're dead. Like, yeah, if that truly is the worst day of your life, then you're a dead person.
Yeah.
And then and then there's the possibility of coming back. But
Can we move on now?
I would love to move on.
So the other thing that we found out that I think is honestly I haven't heard about until we stumbled upon it. Obviously, other people know about it because we found it. But he smoked weed.
Lots of weed.
Every day.
Lots of weed.
After he trained, while he trained, whatever. Like he smoked weed all the time.
Ate
And
hashish. Fucking.
It says that he progressed into eating hashish. So it sounds like he had an addiction problem.
Yeah.
which, whatever.
I mean, we've all seen the commercials. Weed is extremely addictive and a gateway drug, and it makes you
do hashish.
Yeah, and then you'll end up like killing your friends and like
yeah. But I think that it's also a symbol of the times that he was into, because this was the 60s, so it was like everybody was smoking weed.
Yeah, it's very true.
The 2020s is like the 60s of the 60s.
We're making that. Yeah, you're not wrong.
The 60s of the 60s.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like that's I never thought about it that way, but if you consider like where our youth is at the moment, like in the 60s, the whole flower power and peace.
We're
love
having
and
less
everything.
sex though.
We are having less sex.
Like way less sex, apparently.
In fact, there are people who are like, I'm asexual.
That's because the world's ending and everybody's depressed and not having sex anymore. Yeah.
But
I know I'm not. Just kidding.
But that's actually an interesting perspective. I never thought about it like that. But if you look at the youth, like in the 60s, it was, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to get a job. But the difference is that they weren't looking for anything. They weren't looking for handouts.
They're all living in their vans.
They were just,
Imagine, put Instagram in the 60s.
Oh yeah.
Imagine it would be what we have right now.
It'd be a whole lot of tits. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a whole lot of people making money off their tits.
Oh yeah.
Which brings me to my other point. I think that the market for dick pics was flooded. I read about this the other day.
Oh, it's been flooded. It's flooded right now. Yeah.
The whole reason that we can't make money selling premiums is because all these creepy fuckers have sent out all their dick pics for free.
They're giving them for free. Yeah. That's the biggest problem.
And now I can't make money off this sweet, juicy meat.
Yeah. Women learned early on that you charge for that. You charge for that.
So onlyfans.com/Jonny Wester. You can Venmo me for feet pics. But
I'm just doing right nipples.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious. So like there's definitely, they ruined the market.
I know, they really
with
did.
Dick pics, and now we can't get any money.
And the thing is the truth is, like, who wants to look at that? I mean, I've thought a lot about it. I look at mine regularly. And most mornings when I get up to take a leak, if I'm not sitting down and I'm looking at it, a lot of times I'm thinking,
Nope.
That doesn't look appetizing
Not
whatsoever.
today, Satan.
Nope. You might as well. It looks like mine looks a lot like a stalk of broccoli. Not like, you've got the bush at the end and then like the really straight.
Dude, that's impressive if it's the size of a stalk of broccoli.
Well, yeah.
Wait, which direction?
No, I don't have it's not reverse broccoli.
But I don't know what is forward broccoli.
So if you take broccoli and the bushy part, that's my bush.
Okay. And then the broccoli,
the stalk
extends
is my penis.
Oh, I was thinking the other way around.
And then some people
like you had a mushroom cloud.
No, it's a reverse mushroom.
Okay, I got you.
That would probably be my penis. And then if you were to hang like I don't know, 2 extremely small walnuts.
This is the audio equivalent of being sent dick pics from Mitch.
This is what you're getting, ladies.
Him describing
this is what you're getting.
his penis instead. Okay, Bruce Lee was also given a lot of shit for being in an interracial marriage because he was Asian.
Yeah, what they called to the Gwai Lo. At least in the movie I watched.
All of that is just so stupid. It really grinds my gears. No, I just think it's like, dude, wake up, people. Come on.
It was the 60s. There wasn't a lot to wake up to.
It doesn't matter when it is. It's
time
just like,
is a big relative.
Yeah, I get it. No, I understand. We were talking about the other day, like, spanking kids.
You can't do it as much as you used to.
Well, I don't necessarily think Lizzie and I are both kind of under the same feeling that like you don't need to spank your kids to discipline them. Like you can raise your child without spanking. Without spanking them.
You can.
And
that parenting in itself is always going to be one of those topics, right? Because I do believe in spanking kids for discipline. I don't throw them into walls and smack them across the face, right? But if they reach to touch something that they're not supposed to touch, their hands get popped.
Yeah.
That's like
about as far as I would go.
Right. You know, and that's still spanking though. You're still spanking your child.
No.
Yeah, you do the same thing to
like-
dogs. You do the same thing. And the thing is not to compare children to dogs, but at that developing stage, that's essentially what you're doing.
Here's where I think that
Otherwise, what do you like? How else do you do it? You go, hey, don't touch that. They don't fucking understand. They're still shitting in their pants.
Well, you guide them to something else. You have to.
What you take a chew toy and put it in front of your kid and go, no, touch this instead.
No, you give them something. It's just like a dog.
So you're giving them a treat.
No, you give them something that they can play with. So like, let's say that they want to reach for something on the table that they're not allowed to play with.
All that does is explain to them that.
No, you say, you're not allowed to have this. And you say, you can have this.
But you can't say that to a 2-year-old. You can't say, hey, you're not allowed to touch that. They don't understand.
No,
what that
I
word
mean,
is.
it's not, you can't just necessarily say, no, you do this. Like you take effort and guide them, helps them through. But
that doesn't teach them that they can't do the other thing. It just teaches them that they can also do this.
No, I mean, you talk to them and tell them, like,
they don't
that
understand.
You can't
They're 2
touch
years
this
old.
because this is dangerous.
But how do you tell that to a 2-year-old?
Because they understand a lot more than you would think if you communicate with them.
If we were basing this over who has more experience.
I'm a preschool teacher, Montessori certified.
So am I, apparently.
I've
Yeah, see?
you with Mitch on it? Okay.
Yeah. And again, parenting is a touchy subject, because it's one of those things where there's an extreme to both sides.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've all seen that. We've seen one extreme where there's too much corporal punishment, right? And then we've seen at the other extreme where it's like you're literally letting your children run this.
Right.
Like you are no longer the parent.
Yeah, that's something, I mean, like,
Right.
it takes discipline and action.
Yeah.
You have to, and where I feel a lot of parents go wrong is whenever you expect something of your child or you tell something of your child and then you don't follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, okay, so with like the main way that they tell you you're supposed to handle situations with your child is you give them a choice. You can have this, or you can do this, or you can do this, right? So like situations where I don't want to do this, well, you have a choice. You can do this or this, and you can.
Well, why can't one of those choices be you can either do this or I'm going to whoop your ass?
Because
that you're giving them choices.
But you're also resorting to a physical form of punishment.
So
you can give them choices that are stacked in your favor. You can say they don't want to go to bed. Well, you can go to bed now, or you can stay up for 10 minutes.
Or you can sleep outside.
Or you can stay up for 10 minutes reading a book and then go to sleep.
Well, then what happens when they go, okay, and then that 10 minutes is up, and now they go, I want to read another book.
Then too bad.
Well, then
that wasn't the deal.
And then what happens when they say, I don't want to do this deal anymore?
Then that's too bad. That's what the deal was, and you have to stick with it.
They're not going to magically fall asleep just because you told them that they were.
But they're going to probably cry in the room and throw a big fit, and then they can do that. But that's what the consequences are. Like, that's what it is. That's the deal.
So if you
the problem is if I then said, okay, you can read for another 10 minutes, then that creates the idea that if I put up enough of a fit, that he'll give me what I want.
Or if you never give them the choice to begin with,
what's wrong with that choice though?
There's nothing wrong with it, but what's wrong with saying it's bedtime and they go, I don't want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you caught Nora pooping right now in this room, how would you address that?
I would address it differently because I can't speak to Nora with her understanding.
But you think that a 1 and a 2-year-old and possibly a 3-year-old have a higher understanding than Nora?
Yes.
That's fair. I mean, I disagree.
Okay.
From my experience.
Yeah.
But again, and here's the other thing, and I want to put it very clearly out there. I haven't had to whoop my children in a very long time. Right. Years. It's been years since I've actually had to. In fact, my son, who is about to be 17 this year, was like, he was the last one, or he was the last one that I had to spank. No, I mean, I had to spank my daughter once a while back. But here's the thing about that as well. And then this is the last thing and we can move on.
Okay.
So here's what I do believe in, right? When it comes to spanking children, or providing that type of punishment. So like with my daughter, she had done something that she knew she wasn't supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so she did get a spanking for doing it.
Yeah.
But as soon as that was over, I did sit down with her and I said, you understand why this happened, right?
Right.
And she said, yes, sir. And I said, you also understand that I don't like to do this. I don't want to do this. And I still love you no matter what. And you understand that this is why this happened.
But why does the consequence have to be a violent one?
It didn't. It escalated to a violent one because she was given other options prior, and then the mistake kept being made.
But you chose to escalate it, not.
No, I didn't. I didn't choose to escalate it. She chose to escalate it because the choices that she was given over the course of the time that these things kept taking place led to this. So this was something that she was doing at school.
Yeah.
That it was happening over the course of like weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
And she was told, if this happens again, you're going to be grounded. If this happens again, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it continued to happen
Right.
to the point where I said, well, this is your last option, you know? And so again, until you're in that scenario where you're dealing with children of your own.
I agree. I'm not a parent, so like,
yeah,
it's tough to say that.
But you're right. Like it shouldn't be a situation where like your first response is to smack your kid.
Yeah.
Like there are obviously more modern ways this day and age to handle those types of things. And I think it has to be a mix.
My mom smacked the shit out of me one time because I called her the B word,
and you should have got smacked.
And I was at that age when I was like, a smack to the face was like, I was like probably 4th grade, so it's like, you know what's coming.
And a lot of that was probably reactionary. Like she
did tell me, she was like, yeah, I just fucking smacked you.
Yeah, like it wasn't like I was thinking about it. You know?
Yeah, and like we were in the car or something, and she's just whoop pop. Like, yep, all right, I deserve that.
You listen to me, bitch.
Agree to disagree though, because
for sure,
I still disagree with you on it, but whatever. I'm not judging you as a person or as a parent.
All my kids have, they turn out okay.
Yeah, well.
To be determined. But.
Yeah, so far. No. I think that like I think my biggest point where I was going with it, what I wanted to say earlier was like, when you see a child in a supermarket, you're like, that kid just needs to get his ass kicked. Or, he needs an ass whooping or whatever. I don't think that that's the answer, because I think the answer is that a lot of the times they weren't disciplined from the beginning.
Right, yeah.
And that's why now every time they go out to eat at IHOP, your kid's running around like a crazy person.
And now it's too late to begin the discipline. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the answer is not to whoop the living shit out of the kid. The answer is to pay more attention from early on. Easier said than done. And there are a lot of people that don't feel the same way that I do. That's okay. You're wrong. But anyways, so Bruce was in a interracial marriage, and that got us on a spanking. I don't know why.
I don't either.
But and he would also like greet other martial artists and people, and it sounds to me like I just don't want to. If somebody did this to me, I'm like, I don't like you. He would just ask, hit me as hard as you can with either hand, and whenever you are ready. I'd be like, you're one of those guys.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not going to hit you because you're
wearing
going to press
an
charges.
affliction shirt right now.
I know. Are you? At least he didn't say, I'll tell you what, I'll make it up to you. Go get your pistol.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch a bullet with my teeth.
There's a similarity there. I don't think that's, he's like, yeah, you can beat me up, but my dad will sue you.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do, huh?
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, that's an interesting, I just don't think that's like, don't greet people like that. Don't. Imagine somebody just come, hey, try to armbar me, bro.
But you won't.
Yeah. I'd be like, fuck off, dude. I had an uncle that was like, he's always that uncle that's like, how's the karate dojo going? I was like, you know damn well that I don't have a karate dojo because I explain this every fucking time. You're a human being with a brain that knows the words I'm saying to you.
I don't even, this day and age, I find myself, and let me know if you find yourself in the same predicament. But when I do explain to people that I, when the topic comes up or the opportunity arises where I do have to talk about jiu-jitsu or whatever, I've found that here in the last year or so, I'm more apt to say Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because if you don't say Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the average person still looks at that as like the Japanese art form of kung fu, karate, and stuff. But when you say BJJ or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, It's like the layman knows that.
I just lump it in with MMA. I'm like,
Yeah.
you've seen cage fighting? Yeah, the ground stuff.
Yeah, that's what I typically do the same thing. I just realized that in normal conversation, I typically will say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I will make sure to say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as opposed to just Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Because we can say Jiu-Jitsu and we understand. But when you say it to a layman,
part of me, I want to get rid of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Brazilian and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu anymore.
I got made fun of for calling it combat sport. A friend of mine made fun of me for saying that I participate in a combat sport.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're describing it to somebody, that's fine.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, he's that uncle. Where was I going with that? He'll ask me. He's like, "You want to show me some of that out in the garage real quick? Show me how it works." I'm like, "No, that sounds like a horribly awkward fucking situation.
Yeah,
why would anybody want to do that?"
And then he always takes his shirt off. You don't have to take your shirt off for this.
No, he's not that uncle. He would he just preached to me about Jesus.
That's fair.
And speak in tongues.
Maybe that's like the metaphor.
Like, I love BJJ.
Yeah, they forget the other J.
Oh, yeah. That's because you're female,
Yeah,
though.
you're a female.
Sorry. You're never going to get away from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no other way you can
drop the
say
B
it.
on that.
Yeah. Because if you say I love BJJ, they still say, "Oh, you like BJs?" Ha ha ha. And then but then if you like try to simplify it, and you were like, "Oh, I love wrestling around with dudes," it's still you can't win.
No.
Yeah, I just
win.
embrace it. Like, dude, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But so let's get back around.
So a couple of
Bruce
things
Lee.
that
You
I
had some
found out.
stuff that you
Yeah.
found,
So, obviously we talked about him being a massive pothead, or just stoner in general.
What if he totally was like, "Sup, bro?
I know he's.
What are you doing? You want to I got some Cheerios."
There was a judo guy. So he did. Speaking of which, who doesn't like Lucky Charms? I'm not even a pothead.
I got all the marshmallows out of this box, bro.
It sounds like my daughter. She's like, see these things? They go away. These marshmallows stay.
Yeah.
I have a picture of her where she literally dumped out all the I guess the grain. What I don't know what the fuck that would be, like
The cereal?
the cereal piece as opposed, and she would just pick the marshmallows out of it. I'm like, well, that's my life now. But so he trained judo under Gene LaBelle. That really happened. And then there was another judo guy that literally refused to stop training with him because of the amount of marijuana smoke that was in his garage. He was just like, I can't.
Refused to stop?
No, he refused to train with him. Would I say refused to stop?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I won't do it. I won't stop training with Bruce Lee.
That's consent.
There's so much marijuana there.
There's so much marijuana
that I don't want to stop.
And then he had his sweat glands removed from his armpits.
Oh, really?
That's true. Yep.
I've heard about. I had So I don't know if it's a condition of some sort.
He didn't have a condition. He just did not like sweat stains in his t-shirts. That's a truth.
Oh, you can just do that?
Yeah, you just go have them removed.
Shit, I didn't know that was a thing.
So that leads into something else. So he did have his sweat glands removed. Him and Chuck Norris had like a 3-hour sparring session in the hotel, in the hallway of a hotel. It started out as a joke in an elevator, and then it escalated to an actual sparring session in the hallway. So basically, it was just one of those situations where, like, if it was you and I pulled your pants down in the elevator, then it escalates into a full-on fight in the hallway. It's kind of what happened. Like, they were joking around at first, and then it got serious. It's like one of those situations. But so they actually think that Bruce Lee died of a heat stroke. It was partially to blame because he had no sweat glands in his armpits, so he couldn't regulate his body temperature. And then there was an issue with dehydration.
No, he was allergic to ibuprofen, and somebody gave him ibuprofen.
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Look it up.
I did look it up, and that's how I found out about the possible heat stroke situation.
You found a conspiracy then. Because the one thing that I found was that almost across the board, everyone was like, this is not a conspiracy. It's well known that he was allergic to this medication, and a friend had admitted to giving him medicine for a headache.
I don't think it was ibuprofen.
I don't know if it's specifically ibuprofen.
Yeah, it was probably propentanol, which is what killed Michael Jackson. What do you got there, Steph? How did Bruce Lee die? Hint. It may have been related to, click on it. It's going to say.
Oh, it does a bit say that.
Yeah, I told you.
Then what was I?
I don't know. You made that up.
Oh, no. She looked up, did he have his sweat glands removed?
Look.
Wait, what did you type in?
First of all, this is the History
Hold
channel.
on. Okay. Yeah,
So
we're going to believe fucking the History Channel.
Well,
what did you type in?
How did he have his
She typed in. She actually.
How did he have his sweat glands removed?
No, keep scrolling down. Scroll down now. Look. Yeah. How did Bruce Lee die? Hint: it may have been related to his sweat glands. A government inquest concluded the martial arts movie icon died from an aspirin allergy that doesn't fit the facts. It says right there that it just says Johnny
The
wrong in
title
parentheses.
says hint. It may have been related. What's the problem with that? What did we just talk about with how
You
we
can't
want to title
sweat.
things?
So then look, a headache, a nap, then panic. That's a clickbait ad.
Yeah.
His final day on earth started well. On the morning of July 20th, 1973, year of our Lord, in Hong Kong, the 32-year-old box office phenom met with Australian actor George Lazenby. That sounds like I'm not even trying. Who played James Bond in Honor Majesty. I'm not reading that whole thing. After meeting with Lazenby, Lee decided to visit the apartment
None of that has anything to do.
To visit his mistress. What? Bruce Lee had a mistress?
Yeah, we just went over that. He had extramarital affairs, but it was also the 60s, so like
everybody was peace, love. Yeah. When Betty couldn't wait, go back up 2 hours.
He collapsed at his home with his wife.
She called Chow at the restaurant. That's funny. In a panic. After the tabloid feeding frenzy came the fake bombs.
Keep going to where it starts talking about the armpit.
Go to the part where it says in parentheses Mitch was right. Keep scrolling down.
Yeah, I can't wait for this to not.
Yeah, the government's inquest couldn't solve the mystery. Why would they even do an inquest into that? Why would the government get involved in somebody's death?
They're saying that after 30 minutes of sauna, he would faint and start seizing.
Yeah, because he didn't have any fucking sweat glands. If you get into a sauna that induces, that was what it was. Yeah, he did a lot of sauna stuff too. Without any better options, the government accepted the conclusion and tried to move on.
It's almost okay. Here it is.
Anaphylaxis,
which is a severe allergic reaction, is almost always accompanied by other symptoms: an inflamed trachea, neck, tongue, and lips, as well as hives and itchy skin in and around the mouth. In fatal cases, the swelling of the throat blocks the airway, resulting in asphyxia and cerebral edema.
Look at the very last one. It couldn't have been an aspirin allergy that killed Bruce. The autopsy revealed no symptoms of anaphylaxis.
Okay, go down.
Continue.
He had cannabis in his system.
He did have cannabis. And a
Previous
possible
incident. Due to heat stroke, one of the most common killers of young athletic in summer months in the...
It was one of the hotter days of the month in Hong Kong.
Records of the Hong Kong Observatory. Yeah, dude, it sounds like it's just hearsay. Like it's just maybe.
You're just saying that.
No, it's saying that. Like
No,
they're
it's
saying
saying
that
that he
this
didn't
is a
have an aspirin overdose.
possibility. They're saying like it's been a well accepted thing that he's died from an aspirin overdose.
I think he died of.
But regardless, it doesn't make it a conspiracy. He still died. Like
He still
nobody
died for
killed
real.
him.
Yeah. He still really died.
Yeah. So there was no like conspiracy behind his death. He's just dead. Sorry.
Hey, I was thinking about this the other day. I always wonder if Johnny and I would be soulmates in real life. Is there a survey that we can take where they would tell whether or not me and Johnny would actually be soulmates in real life?
What song would we play at our wedding? I already know.
Jesus Christ, I don't know. Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza.
No.
By Elton John.
Come on. What song would be?
We would
song?
Apparently we would date because you just got pissed off that I
Yeah.
picked the wrong song for our wedding. You were like, "Come on, take this seriously."
You don't remember my birthday? What's our song?
What is our song?
Our song.
Oh, man, give me a hint. Go ahead.
Starts with an S.
Give me another hint.
No, that's all you need.
Oh man, what does it rhyme with? Schmishmortion?
Well, it's Screamers 2.0. But
Oh, that is our song.
God
That's what.
Damn it.
I feel like we basically met to that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time we had metaphorical sex was to that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember where I was at. I remember exactly where I was at.
Yeah, we would.
Where were you at whenever that happened? When I messaged you on Instagram to give you
For the podcast or for the...
no, to give you kudos about the song.
No, I was doing laundry.
I was sitting on a couch drinking beer and listening to it. And I just remember thinking, this fucking song is amazing.
Dude,
and then I messaged you.
It fucking slaps.
It does. It's
hard.
so good.
It is.
Yeah,
I love
Screamers
it.
2.0
Every time
by
it comes on.
Sleepy Dog.
Yeah, really good song.
Yeah, and then we talked about it for a while. And then like 2 days later, I was like, you want to do a podcast?
And then we started this.
And then we started this.
Here we are.
That is our anniversary song.
Honestly, like this podcast is just, it's the wildest fucking thing to me. I never thought. We're 27 episodes in. This is episode 27. And like, what? We made it 27 weeks
I know
in a row?
When we initially started it, it was funny. I knew that we were going to go somewhere with it. I didn't know where that was going to be. And then...
Yeah, I mean, like, you always believe that.
Yeah.
You're like, but you also know when it first starts, you're like, I know right now it's just because the iron's hot and we're excited about it, but it's going to die down. And it just
feels like it hasn't.
It's continued to build momentum
and gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, we have people approaching us for sponsorship options. We've got an intern who is a producer. Like, holy shit!
Yeah, it's really blowing my mind.
I know. I did find out at the AGF that people they do like you more than they like me. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, my students like me.
That's probably what it was, because it was mostly your students
more than me. Yeah. It's okay.
What do you got there, Steph?
How often do you profess your love for each other?
How
Every day.
often do you? Yeah. Well,
Pretty much.
it's a little one-sided.
Almost always so much that it's beginning to lose its luster, or whenever we get the chance, not so much anymore because it's become difficult.
I think.
Can you do me a favor? Can you pull that up on the screen?
Put it on the big screen.
And I want you to talk, but I want you to have a microphone when you talk. You can come share my microphone.
You guys can do that.
Let's do that here.
I'm not sharing mine.
We're gonna swing this back and forth, but I also don't want there to end up being this weird audio echo on here.
Green means go.
Good job. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can see it a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got it.
Almost always, so much so that it is beginning to lose its luster whenever we get the chance. Not so much anymore because it becomes difficult to lie. It has become difficult to lie.
No, I was going to say whenever we get the chance.
Yeah.
How aligned are your interests?
I feel like
Completely
maybe
aligned.
you love me more than I love you.
Well, somebody had to say it.
Yeah. It's okay. We are not alike. That it's scary. We are so alike it's scary.
Yeah.
I should have had Stephanie read these.
Well, she doesn't have a microphone.
She's the only person in the room that can read. We share the same interests, but we are also constantly learning new things from one another. Not at all, and neither of us make an effort to learn what the other is interested in. I'm going to say B, because we're constantly picking up like new like bands and new like little ideas from one another. When you guys talk, how deep does the conversation usually go? That's going to have to be whatever the top one is, because we do a fucking podcast together. Of course.
Yeah.
We can talk about anything and it's awesome. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Done. Yeah.
Which two objectives best describe your sex life? Here we go.
Yes.
Into the juicy stuff.
Okay.
Often, but oh so tiring. Moderate, but fiery. Frequent, but boring. Go ahead and tell me what you think.
I just don't want to hurt your feelings. That's the thing.
This is all about being honest, Mitch.
I feel like you only do it missionary. And I've thought about this a lot.
You really think that? That I only do it missionary?
Or I just feel like you always have to be on top.
No.
I totally feel like you would be the topper.
You think that Johnny would be on top, or I'd be on top?
Mitch would be the top. Oh, in our relationship? Yeah, Mitch is the guy. He'd be on top.
Yeah.
I thought you just meant like as me as a person.
No. I don't want to be like on top in missionary though.
I feel like you and I are both pretty moderate people, like kind of middle of the road people. So we'd probably go back and forth.
I think so.
I'm going in the middle.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too. Because we only meet once a week. So sex one time a week.
Yep. That's true.
It's pretty fiery. We get on the podcast and we
That's true.
mix it up on here.
We've already discussed how to raise
People
children.
don't actually know that we're inside each other this entire time.
Yeah,
the whole podcast.
It's, yeah.
Okay, next.
How do you usually spend your Friday nights?
Oh, we'll replace that with Sundays.
Yep.
Fingering because fighting because we can't decide on what to do.
Nope.
If we don't have an engagement with friends or family, we're happy to just stay in, watch movies, and waste the night away in each other's arms. I like that one. We like to go out, get drunk, and head home
when the
sun is already up.
No, I think B.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, I'd lay on your lap and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Hang out with family.
Zach already defined our roles. You're the daddy, and I'm the otter. So.
That's true. You are an otter.
Yeah. I feel like you're on the otter side of a dad, though. You know, like
otter, ODDER.
If it went like, it goes bear, dad, otter, twink.
I'm in between.
Wait, there's something. There's got to be something between otter and twink.
There has to be because you can't go straight to twink.
There's something in between there. We don't know what it is, but it goes otter, something else, and then a twink.
So I'm in between the otter and the dad bod?
I think you're right there. I'm probably like
You're mostly twink.
I think I'm like on the dadder side of otter, but more closer to the middle of otter. You know what I'm saying? Like 75% otter.
It's funny how
25%.
It's funny how people view themselves.
I think you're 90%, or I think you're like 10% otter.
What was otter again?
Me.
Yeah.
It's like just a normal dude, I guess. I don't know. Okay.
We read that. When you hang out with your family, how does he carry himself? I've actually hung out with your family.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Yeah, I carry myself very well. They liked me.
He hates them, but that's because you don't like it. Whoa, wait a minute. Are we talking about Bop?
No, I'm talking about your actual mom and dad.
My mom and dad. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Bop's out of the picture.
Yeah, Lizzie doesn't like me.
We broke up. That's not true.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I said that like it was like something that I was just dropping in there. We didn't pick up.
Her car's here.
Yeah. It's kind of weird right now. Don't talk about it. He gets along with everyone from my mom to what's that say? My
nephew.
My nephew. Okay. He usually just sits in a corner by himself. We'll say middle.
Yeah, I do that. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
What does it feel like when you guys kiss? Ooh. It's okay. Normal moaning. No, normal meaning not bad, but not spectacular. Oh, who's moaning while they're?
Oh, it's just like this sound and a bunch of moaning.
So I told you I've been listening to podcasts. It's like my number one pet peeve is you hear this.
I know.
You hear people's wet mouths, and like you can hear their lips like stick together because it's too wet.
Jordan Peterson is real bad about going. I
almost did it in response to you doing it. So what does it feel when we
passionate?
Kiss? There are fireworks every time.
Mm-mm.
Sloppy and saliva filled. I don't think sloppy and saliva filled is necessarily a bad thing.
I don't think it either. Yeah,
I mean, like that just tells me you're passionate. You're into it. Let's go with sloppy and saliva filled.
Yep.
If we're gonna do it, we're gonna trade spit. Come on.
Honest, is it? Okay, we can review this. Okay, so what do we got here?
If my tongue's been in your butthole, it better get some freaking
Congratulations.
Saliva.
Your man is yours. Yes.
Yes, soulmates.
We're soulmates.
The relationship you have is founded on great communication and trust. Keep that burning and that love alive.
So my whole thing is this. How did any of those questions determine that?
They were like super black and white.
They were super black and white, but
it was either small, medium, or large.
Yeah. And like, so because we have sloppy kisses and I'm good friends, I can hang out with your parents.
If you have to take that test to figure out if that person is your soulmate,
you're
then
right.
You're an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
And there's women all over the country right now that are fighting with their significant other right now because of the result of that.
Yeah. like if you're answering, no, he hates literally all of my family.
Yeah.
When we kiss, I don't feel anything. Like, do you not see the problem? What about a cosmopolitan survey? That needs to be our thing. We need to start taking more of these Cosmo. Because we've had some zingers on here.
I know. And the
Cosmo. Yeah.
As they're going through the survey, the dude's like, we fucking hate each other. But the chick's like, Hold on.
Yeah.
There's a couple more questions.
When we kiss, how does it feel? I hate it.
Yeah.
What about this aren't you getting?
Answer the fucking question.
So we do have, well, our Patreon's been kind of popping.
It has.
Yeah, it's been popping
Think it
off.
popping.
We've got one of your students,
Do we?
a former student of mine, now your student.
Who's my student?
I'm not offended. Don't worry about it. Adam Mittermeier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. I saw that. He's a Goliath.
Yeah, he is a large man.
Have you guys ever trained with Woody dummies?
Wooden
You said
dummies.
Woody. You're fucking fired.
I've
like how-
I've like goofed around with him.
I think it was funny.
Yeah.
Stephanie got mad that I read exactly what she wrote, and she was like, "That says wooden." No, it doesn't. WOODY that's the last thing it spells is wooden.
Well, I took the Y off.
You did spell dummies correctly though, which is even harder.
To be honest, I don't think that it's a bad drill to work with him.
No, when I was reading what you were writing, I thought that this question was going to be, have you guys ever trained with woodies? Like with boners?
Oh yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Have you ever inadvertently had a penis in your mouth?
Oh no, but I grabbed one time on accident. Somebody was wearing like boxer shorts with basketball shorts trying to roll, and I came up and got a whole handful of nutsack.
Something that I was talking to Wayne Knutson about after our match when he was rolling for that knee bar. We were kind of like discussing like, hey man, I was explaining to him like I was prepared for this.
And you're like, I could feel your wiener.
No, but he's relentless in like his dive underneath the leg, and he goes, "Yeah, bro, I'll just grab your dick." And I was like, that makes sense.
The old dick grab.
Yep.
No, I don't think playing with those like the Wing Chun dummies is what she's asking about.
Yeah, I think it
not
can
bad.
build acuity and speed. Like you're for like motor skills.
It also those things hurt.
They do hurt. So
Like,
you're
it's
kind
some
of building up
conditioning
some,
on the.
yeah.
But like it's like a speed bag. If you're not boxing like you hit a speed bag, you
No,
shouldn't be
it's a
boxing like
coordination.
how you hit a heavy bag. Honestly, like that is not a good strategy to box. But timing and speed and all of that it helps a lot.
I agree.
So back to our Patreon because we've had two people.
yeah,
jump on
so
our Patreon.
Adam,
You had us,
hopped on. Yep.
A friend, Adam Mittermeier, and then I have a friend, Eric Hill.
Yeah.
He signed up for our Patreon as well.
I noticed that they chose the $3 option.
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't even looked at it.
That's the first thing I look
change
at.
it. I'm going to change it soon. We're going to add a higher option, and we're going to
Because that's exactly. I think that's where people are wanting. I think people are going in there and they're going, you know what?
Well, here's the thing. You tell us. You tell us what you want on the Patreon. We need. We have 25 total patrons right now. I want you guys to either go on our Patreon. There's a way you can talk to us through our Patreon. We
I want
always
that number
get
to
the
become
emails.
50. I want to get that number to 50.
We are. It will get to 50.
Very soon.
But here's the deal: is like you can use that Patreon to talk to us. That's the easiest way to talk to us. Sometimes like through Instagram and stuff. I run 3 different Instagrams. That's a lot for me
I
to
only
keep
run
up
one.
with. And so like,
you guys wanna talk to
take
me-
on one of mine.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk to me, just
Yeah,
instant
Mitch
message
is
me.
desperate to talk to people
Because nobody ever wants to talk to me.
because they don't want to get caught in an ear triangle. Nobody knows how to escape the ear triangle, bro.
It's pretty strong.
I love you.
Josh Root messaged me yesterday. I had to give him my phone number.
Oh, there you go.
It was something unrelated, but
Yeah, he's a counselor, so he's good at listening.
I know he does a great job.
But yeah, like communicate with us. What are some things that you want to see on the Patreon? We've had a couple people that have brought up some ideas, but I really want to know what like the group is thinking. What you guys want to see. We've talked about we're struggling right now getting some technique videos together just because since I've moved, we don't have mats in our garage, and so it's kind of difficult to get to a gym. But
We want to
can
know
still
what the
do that.
Rough and Tumblers are wanting.
The rough and tumblers.
The Rough and Tumblers.
We got to come up with a better.
Stephanie's
the
a rough and
gougers.
tumbler.
No, it's the gougers.
Ooh,
There
yeah,
you
the
go.
gougers.
And
Yeah,
everybody has like their little name for
yeah,
their
the gougers
followers.
for our followers.
Gougers. I don't
The
know.
92 subscribers on our YouTube are now known as gougers.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to be known as a gouger.
You don't get a choice.
Yeah, but we want to hear your thoughts and your ideas on content. We want to add more tiers to our content just to give you more options and more benefits. Because to be honest, sometimes I don't feel like $5 a month isn't that much. But I want to make sure that I'm giving more than that in content. because I feel like your money is deserving of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel that $5 worth of content in a month is a video. You know?
No.
I want some good shit up there. Anyways, we've got to shout out also Cruise Combat. You can go on there, CRUZ CMBT or
COMBAT.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They abbreviate combat sometimes on their thing. I'm sorry.
Is that bad? That's what we're going with?
Yeah. No, it's Cruise.
Is it
CRUZ.
Is it combat?
Combat.
Combat. I was just wondering why Stephanie erased the B.
Here's the cool thing about this company.
How do they spell it?
It's combat. It's the word combat.
Okay, Cruise.
That's the website. Use that. It's like on some of their shirts, they'll abbreviate the word combat. Funny.
CMBT?
Yeah. I'm sorry that I even brought it up. Cruz. Okay. Cruz is my buddy Ryan's son. And he also runs a t-shirt and short company called Skellybone. SKELLYBONE. This is not related to our podcast or
so I'm wondering why we're mentioning it then.
I know. But I think it's a really cool thing because like Skellybone, they have designs specifically for kids. Like
nice.
It's kids stuff.
Is he a kid?
Yeah, he's a
that's cool.
Kid. And so like that was just a way for him and his dad to do something together.
That's super cool.
And so his dad like is teaching him how to do it. And I think I'm just like, it's so rad. And like the designs he has are freaking cool. Like I want some. But yeah, I just thought that was a really cool thing. And that's I want to support people like that are doing
me too.
Interesting and cool things like that. Anyways, so if you go to their website, you can order custom t-shirts, custom shorts, shirts.
Cruise Combat.
Cruise Combat. CRUZCOMBAT.com. Use our discount code, the Rough and Tumble. Rough and Tumble.
Not the.
No, the.
Just. And it's
ROUGH.
guys. ROUGH. We are not the Rough Riders.
All caps with the ampersand.
And the ampersand is the and symbol.
We've got to make things easier on you guys.
And Tumble.
Yeah. We're trying to convince people to go buy stuff and making it super difficult.
Yeah, there's people lining up on the internet to buy stuff and they can't because they keep adding the or they keep putting the at symbol for the ampersand.
Here's what we're gonna do as well. We're gonna add the link and the discount code in our description on YouTube and when we release the podcast. So that stuff will be in there for you to use. You can just scroll down and click on that. That would we could have done that ages ago. Mm-hmm. And that would have made things so much easier. Thank you, Cruise Combat, for being patient with us while we figure out how this damn podcasting thing works. Because it's an interesting road. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about? Bruce Lee.
Turns out he was just as cool as he promised that he was. I mean, he was who he said he was. Yeah. There was no, and
he promised he was pretty cool.
Yeah, he never walked around and said, I can beat the fuck out of everybody, anybody. He was more of a feats guy. He could not feats, but not FEET, but he was more of I can do a 2-finger push-up with one arm. I can do. I have the fastest kick and things like that. He was a performance artist who happened to also be a true philosopher and martial artist as well, with a severe addiction to marijuana.
But it'd be like if I walked up to
dogs don't have sweat glands in their armpits either. That's why do you think Bruce Lee walked around? Yeah. Fun fact.
It'd be like if I walked up to you and I was like, hey, I'm a pretty cool guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not like the coolest, but I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's a fair assessment. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how everybody should take Bruce Lee. Like, he's like, hey, I'm really fast.
At no point was he like, hey, cool. I'm a cool guy. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
He was just like, no.
He's like, check out what I can do.
Wow.
And everybody's like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. He's like, hey, you're awfully fast.
Yeah. Did you do a backflip? Wow.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
I had a student the other day, actually, after class, she came up to me and she goes, Coach Mitch, you want to see something cool? And I was like, of course, I always want to see something cool. I thought she was going to show me like a booger or something like that. Yeah. And she did a no-handed backflip. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's not what I expected. I didn't expect you to just bust out a Ninja Turtle backflip at the end of class. And so
I look for talents like that. Like I want to be able to like just sit down on a piano and just play off some like the Flight of the Bumblebee or something out of nowhere. And people are like, whoa, where'd that come from?
I was just thinking about.
I just wanted to belt out songs that sing.
if you were to try to do a no-handed backflip, there's so many places you can't do that because you're so tall.
I've done them before.
Really?
Yeah.
You just stopped one day and you're like, I don't want to do this
No,
anymore?
so
You're like, one's enough?
I can run up a wall and do a backflip.
That's cool. Especially if somebody's chasing you.
Yeah. And then they run straight
into the wall.
Idiot. Yeah. When I was probably 18, 19, I got to where I was able to do them.
You get really into parkour?
No, I just jumped on a trampoline. I was like, I bet I could do this on the ground. Because I can do a double front flip.
On the trampoline?
On the trampoline.
Yeah.
Or used to. I haven't done that in years.
So that's when you do 2 full rotations.
And land on my
Jesus
butt.
Christ.
I couldn't land on my feet. And
Still.
land on my butt.
You have to get so much air for that.
Oh, dude, I'm a trampoline pro. You don't even know. We should go to trampoline park one day. Nobody else will go with me.
I'll go.
I want to go to the
Stephanie will
trampoline park.
go.
Let's make a rough and tumble trampoline park day. Anybody else wants to go, we'll set the day.
It's just going to be me going around double bouncing kids.
Hey, dude, if you bring your girlfriend, we might be able to get that baby out a little early.
It just drops out.
Yeah. Bloop. Oh. Somebody pick it up. Quick.
Quick.
Don't crack the baby.
10-second rule.
Okay, so
Don't crack the baby.
Yeah, no, I did a backflip and landed on my head one day, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Not worth it. Yeah, but I got to where I was like, I was landing on my toes and then falling forward on it. Like I wasn't.
That's still.
I was getting there, but I hadn't perfected it, and then I landed on my neck, and I was like, "This isn't
that could have went sour."
My life. Yeah.
Yeah, I only landed on my neck once, and it knocked the wind out of me because my chin hit my chest.
Yeah.
That was a story I was telling you guys about.
Well, I only landed on my neck once as well.
Yeah,
and I learned my lesson.
And that was when I was like, oh, I got to go drink some water. This will make it. That's when I thought that if I drank water, it would make my wind come back.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves fell on his neck one time as well.
I take that back. That's not the only time that I fell. I tried. So when I was a kid, I'm still kind of like this. I got into like BMX. And we had these like dirt bike ramps out by our house.
We hear that, Stephanie.
We had these dirt bike ramps out by the house. And
did you go into the convenience store and go, hey, in your opinion, what's the loudest can that I can get?
What's got the highest amount of carbonation?
No, I do. I'm an intern for a podcast, and they record. They have area mics. So
mics?
I don't know. This one, the peach tea? Yeah, that's the one I want. Okay. Are you sure it's going to get me fired? Because that's what I need.
Peace tea. It's this one that's going to get me fired.
It says peace tea. I said peach tea. I can't read.
Oh, but anyways, I tried. Somebody was like, we had these.
You can finish opening it.
Ramps.
I know you're probably thirsty now.
She stopped halfway through.
Stopped.
Oh, shit. Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish opening it. There it is. We hadn't even gotten to the loudest part yet.
I'm glad that. I hope you enjoyed that tea.
Yeah, because it's the last one you're going to have on the podcast.
Because you're not going to be on the podcast. We fired you so much today.
Oh.
Yeah, Stephanie's crying. We made Stephanie cry.
Oh, that sucks.
New goal every episode.
Yep.
Make Stephanie cry one way or another. See how many different emotions we can make Stephanie cry with. Today we're making her cry with laughter.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, next week, I want to make her cry from fear. Then the next week I want to make her cry from anger.
Yeah. That's the one I really want to do is anger.
Depression. I want to make her so
easy,
sad
though.
in one episode, but not like
just a bunch
she
of
leaves depressed.
Right.
I want it all to happen right here
on air.
Yeah.
And then, we just have to play a bunch of those. Who is it? In the arms of an angel.
There was one that Lizzie showed me that this woman that was like reformed from the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh yeah.
Was talking to children about what their idea of God was, and this kid asked about what she had done, and she said, "What's your biggest regret?" Was what the kid said, and she said, "Like my biggest regret was that we used to protest funerals, and say really terrible things about these people." And she starts crying because she's admitting to this. This kid starts crying with her, and he's just like, "I don't know why anybody would ever do something like
so
that.
Fucking terrible."
Yeah, and then he's like, "And now you're a perfectly nice person." And I'm like, these poor kids are getting fucked up in the head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I remember
the
granddaughter.
Joe Rogan's talked about it before. Yeah, he's mentioned it a couple times because she's like really an activist now. She's even come out and said, I don't know, like she goes, it was indoctrination. She's like, it was her grandfather.
It's brainwashing. Yeah. And her grandfather, again, was caught looking at little boys.
Oh, story of my life.
Dude, look at the loudest person in the room about
what not to do.
Yeah. And you'll find the child molester.
Yeah. They're always there.
Like, they're always the ones that are... It's the same thing with, like, people that are so freaked out about gays just because you're a little gay. Yeah. Or you might be entirely gay.
Yep. But again, there's nothing wrong with that. You're the only person that has an issue with that.
You're the only person that finds something wrong with it. And maybe like your family or
perhaps,
whatever,
depending on your background, who cares?
About your family. I mean, who cares about you? Honestly, just you. So treat yourself nice. And that's the
end of water.
That's the end of the episode. We love you guys. Keep up the support because we're fucking rocking right now.
We're owning it.
I'm stoked about it. Let's keep it up.
Fired up. And also, if you're interested in sponsoring any episode or an annual sponsorship or any sort of sponsorship for the podcast, we're always looking to sponsor great companies that we believe in. Doesn't matter. Just shoot us an idea, shoot us a business offer, whatever. We'll talk about it. We'll see what we can do, and we'll make it work for you.
In 2030, Nike's gonna listen to this episode and be like, you know what?
We should have gotten in on that.
I'm gonna sponsor those guys, and we're like, oh damn it, we don't do that anymore.
Nope, sorry guys. But
sorry,
no,
Nike.
Ideally, especially if you're a small business owner or a startup company or something like that, we really want to support that. If you're veteran owned, I'm a big advocate for veteran owned companies and stuff like that. So anything like that, if you guys are interested, we would love to help you guys out and at the same time help us out as well.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
For the world, can strippers advertise themselves?
Can you be specific.
Like, do strippers like, hey, I'll give you $100 if you shout out my name on your radio show and tell people to come in and see Cinnamon?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, they can do that. Of course they can.
That's like you're building up
I would love for a
clientele.
strip club to sponsor us.
No, I don't want the strip club.
I know. I'm just saying.
I just want the
in
stripper.
general, like as well. By the way, like
I just want strippers.
I mean, are we still gonna have a stripper on the show?
Life goal. I want to.
Yeah.
Or a sex worker. Honestly, any kind of sex worker.
I know one.
I actually do know like two.
It's probably better that you bring yours on than me.
Is it though?
Well, as long as my kids don't listen.
Is it? No, but yeah, I'd like to get the inside scoop on the sex industry.
I would too. Like,
well,
you mean sex worker like a porn star? Or
it
sex
could be
worker
anything.
like a street worker?
It could be anything. Porn star, street worker. There's girls that have like OnlyFans accounts. We've talked about that.
I do know somebody that is a cam girl.
Yeah. There's a couple cam girls that I know.
For the record, I don't know her personally.
Mitch just sends her $15 every month.
Yeah, but so here's
it's
the thing.
A subscription, okay?
She said she was going to nursing school. No, Julianne knows a cam girl, not I. My brother and his girlfriend tried to get in on that one time, and then my brother got really pissed off because all the guys kept saying, "Hey, can you have your boyfriend leave the room?" He got super pissed. He was like, "Hey," he thought it was just going to be him and his chick having sex on camera the whole time. Come to find out, that dude just wanted to see her.
So, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, he made her quit. He also uses the word cooter to describe vaginas.
And with that, we're going to see you cooters later.
Peace.
Have a good one.